Okay, we're talking about factoring. This is the second day of factoring. Yesterday we talked about factoring when our coefficient was 1 or -1, when our leading coefficient was 1 or -1, yes? We will go over last night's homework tomorrow. I need the whole period to get through today's lesson. You with me? So any questions you have over last night's homework and tonight's homework, I will answer tomorrow in class. Dealio? Okay. Everybody should have the notes. The very first thing we talked about today is going to be GCF. We talked about this briefly yesterday. A GCF is the greatest common factor. This is the largest number that is divisible by each and every term that you have. What this means is the GCF cannot be larger than the smallest number. Do we understand that? A number cannot give more than what it is. It cannot give more than itself. So if you're the number 16, it can't give 18, can it? Does that make sense? So look at these two numbers. Which one's the smaller number up there? 16. So what I want you to do is find all the factors of 16. 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Do you see that those are the factors of 16? Yes or no? Can 16 go into 24 evenly? No, mark it off. Does 8 go into 24 evenly? Yes, it does. So my GCF is the value 8. It is the largest factor of 16 that goes into both 16 and 24. When you factor out a GCF, you will hear me refer to this as go fish. You know why? When you cast out your line, it drops into the water. Your bobber's there, hook, line, and sinker. You grab the fish, pull it out of the water. Yes? It's coming out of the parentheses would be considered the lake. You with me? Your GCF would be considered the fish. You're taking out what is in common. Okay? You are doing this by the operation of division. Do we all understand, yay or nay? You should mentally be able to distribute or FOIL to be able to obtain the previous problem. So here we go. Irreducible, we learned this yesterday, is something that cannot be factored into two binomials. Okay? I cannot factor into two binomials is something we call as irreducible. Now, I give you the example 3a squared plus 9. What is my smallest number up there? 3. Does 3 go into 9? Yes, so therefore I have a GCF of a 3. Do I have an A in both terms? No, so I do not have a variable GCF. I only have a numerical GCF. Do we understand the difference? So I'm going to go fish and pull out my GCF by division. What is 3a squared divided by 3? A squared. Drop down the plus sign. What is 9 divided by 3? 3. Mentally, if I were to distribute the 3 back in, what would I get? The original problem of 3a squared plus 9. This is pulling out the GCF. Now, I want to know, can I factor that into two binomials? How do I break down a squared? A and A. Now, yesterday, we used to have 3 terms. I'm missing a middle term, aren't I? So I'm going to put a placeholder there. That placeholder is going to be the 0. Does everybody understand where the 0 came from? Because I'm missing the middle term. Now, what are my factors of 3? I have no choice to put 1 and 3 there. And my signs both have to be plus. Now, here's my question. If I check inner, that gives me a 1a. If I check outer, that gives me a 3a to give me 4a. Is that what I needed to obtain? No. Can I do anything else to get a 0a? No. You know what that means? This is what we call irreducible, meaning I cannot break it down into two binomials because there's no possible factors of 3 that will obtain the middle term of 0. We all understand that. Again, 25b squared minus 20b. What is the smallest number up there? 20. Does 20 go into 25? Now, if I were to list all my factors, I'd have 20 and 1, 10 and 2, 4 and 5. Does 10 go into 25? No. Does 5 go into 25? Yes. So what is my GCF for the numbers? 5. So I have a numerical GCF of 5. Do I have a variable GCF? How many b's are in the first term? B squared is b times b, so there are 2 b's in the first term. How many b's are in the second term of 20b? 1. So what's in common between those two terms? They have 1 b in common, so my GCF is a 5b. Now, if I pull 5b out by division on each of those terms, what is 25b squared divided by 5b? 5b, drop down the minus. What is 20b divided by 5b? 4. Can I break that down into two binomials now? No, because guess what? This is just b to the first. Okay, Casey. Because I pulled a b out, I went fishing, then I pulled a b out of each term. There are 2 b's in the first term, so that leaves 1 remaining in the pond still. You with me? If I pulled a b out of the second term, there are no fish remaining in that one. There's no more b's. Make sense? Okay. Do we understand that one, yes or no? Okay. Next. Smallest number. Does 7 go into 25? Do I have any other factors of 7? 1, but does 1 change anything? So do I have a numerical GCF? No. Do I have a variable GCF? What is my variable GCF? X. So we're going to pull out an X out of each term. What remains? 25X plus 7. Do we understand that that is completely done there? Okay. Next, we're going to start factoring. And we're going to do the same procedure that we did yesterday. We're going to write the problem. We're going to look for the GCF. We're going to pull out the GCF by division. We're going to factor what's left into two binomials if possible. If it is not possible, we're going to write irreducible. Do we understand that? So if it is not possible to do, you're simply going to write irreducible. Now listen up. Tonight's homework, they're not all irreducible. So don't think that you can get away with just writing irreducible on the entire worksheet and be like, but I tried. You did not. Do we all understand that? This is review from yesterday. Do I have a GCF? Find the smallest number. The smallest number is what value? 1. 1 is a GCF to everything, right? It goes into everything. So it's not going to change if I pull it out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this into two binomials by making this an X and an X, correct? Then you're going to look at the very last sign, and that gives you a minus. So what does that tell you about your signs? They are different. So I have a plus and a minus. So if they're different, am I adding or subtracting? I am subtracting. Then I need to have a minus in my middle term. So what does that imply about this space right here? What is that? It's where the bigger factor goes, right? So then I need to find my factors of 14. Factors of 14 are 1 and 14 and 2 and 7. And what did we say we were going to do with those numbers? We were going to subtract them. 13 and 5. Which numbers do I want? I need to get my middle term, which is going to be the number 5. So I'm going to use 2 and 7. What number goes where? The 7 goes with the minus because it's the larger number, and it gets the middle sign. How do I know I'm right? Inner is 2x, outer is negative 7x to give me a negative 5x, which is what I wanted. Do we understand that? Yes? Again, okay, step 1, do I have a GCF? No, because my smallest number up there is 1. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into 2 binomials. Step 1, how do I break down x squared? X and x. Step 2, look at the last sign. The last sign is a positive. How do I achieve a positive outcome? Plus, plus, or how do I know which one to use? Look at the middle term. The middle term is negative, so therefore I'm going to use minus, minus. Which means, what am I going to do with the factors? I will add the factors together. Excellent job. So I need to find all of my factors of 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And what did you say I was going to do with those factors? You said that we were going to add them. So that means I'm going to have 25, 14, 11, and 10. What am I wanting to achieve? I need a 10, which means I'm going to simply put in 4 and 6 because the signs are the same, and I am done with that. Correct? Okay, well, this next example, how is it different? It has a number of 2 in front. Now, find the smallest number up there. 2. Does 2 go into 11? So can I possibly have a GCF? No, this is problematic. I can't get rid of the 2, can I? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the same problem just like we have been doing. Okay? Step 1, how do I break down 2x squared? What are my factors of 2? 1 and 2. I don't have a choice, do I? I have to use a 2x and a 1x. Would you agree with me? That's the only way I can obtain a 2x squared. Go to the end. Look at your sign. I need to have a positive outcome. So that means I'm going to have plus, plus, or negative, negative. How do I determine which one it's going to be? Look at your middle sign. My middle sign says it's plus. So therefore, I have a plus, plus. Would you agree? Okay, which means I'm adding. Step 4, factors of 12. Well, what are all my factors of 12? 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Now, here's the kicker. Are you listening to me? You know how we added them before? We can't add them now. Do you know why? Because I have this factor of 2 hanging out right here. So whenever I do inner and outer, it's going to jack with it. It will not make it correct. So here is the trick that I have taught students in the past. You are going to use the numbers closest together, and you are going to strategically think about where you're going to place each one, thinking about GCFs. In this problem, did I have any GCFs in the original problem? No, which means I cannot put numbers in either one of these places where I could have a potential GCF. Meaning, if I'm going to put 3 and 4 in here, can I put the 4 in with the 2? No, because that's saying that I have a GCF, and am I allowed to do that? No, which means I can't put the 4 there. I have to put the 4 here, which means the 3 goes there. How do I know I'm right? Inner gives me 3x. Outer gives me 8x to give me 11x. Is that what my middle term was? Yes, I know I'm right. This is one method. This is the method that all traditional algebra students should utilize and learn. However, if you are a traditional algebra student that struggles and you cannot strategically think a couple steps ahead, then we have another method that will help you. It is longer. This is what we call the AC method. The AC method is whenever you're taking A and C and multiplying them together. Okay? So same exact problem. What is A? What is C? You do not take their signs. I repeat, you do not take their signs. You leave the signs out. Now you're going to take A times C. And that gives you 2 times 12, which is 24. You're going to take all the factors of 24 now instead of the factors of 12. So 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Yes? How do I break up an x squared? X and x. I need to have a positive outcome, but a positive in the middle, so that's plus and plus. Same exact procedure we've done before. Now, I want you to get my middle term. How do I get 11? Well, we're going to add these 25, 14, 11, and 10. Which numbers obtain the number 11? Okay, so we're going to take the 3 and the 8, but you're going to divide them both by A. What is A? 2. So x plus 3 over 2 times x plus 4. This 2 is going to come out in front. And that's going to be a 2x plus a 3 times an x plus a 4. Same exact problem, done 2 different ways. In my opinion, the first method is easier. The second method is more involved. So let's do it again, both ways. Same exact problem, okay? Step 1, do I have a GCF on 3x squared plus 7x minus 20? What's the smallest number up there? A 3. Does 3 go into all of those numbers? No, so you're going to leave it alone. So I'm going to go straight into this. How do I find my factors of 3? What are they? 1 and 3. I have no choice but to use 3x and x. Would you agree? Yes? Step 2. I need a negative outcome. How do I get a negative outcome? My signs must be opposite. I either need a plus minus or a minus plus. This is where things get sticky. I could put my signs in there, but I may have to swap them. So you can put signs in, or you can wait and put signs in at the end. Do you understand me? Okay? I'm going to put plus minus just so that you can see you may have to erase them. Then I'm going to find my factors of 20. My factors of 20 are going to be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. What did I tell you to always try? Numbers closer together. So that means I'm going to try 4 and 5, correct? So if I try 4 and 5, can I put the 4 or the 5 here and not have a GCF with the 3? Either one's an option, right? So you have to roll the dice. Put the 4 here, put the 5 there. Check inner, 4x, check outer, negative 15x, and that's going to give you a negative 11x. Is that what I needed? So what should I do with my 4 and 5? Swap them. So this is going to give me a 5x, and this is going to give me a negative 12x to give me a negative 7x. Is that what I wanted? What do I need to do now? Flip your signs. So this is going to be a plus, and this is going to become a minus. Now it's done. Now here's the thing. I showed you the mistakes that could happen. For many of you, you might be able to get it immediately. Some of you may not have any issues. Do we understand that? Okay. Let's do the AC method. What is A? What is A? What is C? Now, I'm going to take A times C. And what is that? That's 3 times 20 to give you 60. This is when things get a little bit crazy. Would you agree? That's a big number. Yes? So we actually are going to go over to our factor finder, and we're going to place in the number 60. And we're looking for factors of 60 that are going to give me what number? I want factors of 60 that are going to give me 7. Would you agree? So if we come over here, 1 and 60, no. 2 and 30, no. 3 and 20, no. How about 4 and 15? Is that going to give you 11? Is that what we're looking for? 7 is we're looking for 7. 5 and 12, will that give us 7? Yes. So we're going to use 5 and 12. But what are we going to do with the number 5 and the number 12? We're going to divide them by A, right? Yes? So I have 5/3, and then what's 12 divided by 3? 4. Which number is bigger? The 5/3 or the 4? The 4 is the bigger number. Why is that helpful? Because guess what? If I put an X here and an X here, and I need my signs to be opposite, the bigger number is going to get the middle sign. So the 4 goes here and the 5/3 goes with the minus, correct? Am I allowed to have a fraction here? No, so that 3 is going to pop inside with that X. So I have X plus 4 times 3X minus 5. Same problem done 2 different ways. Okay? Again. Okay. Excuse me. Smallest number. Do I have a GCF? No. So since I don't have a GCF, I'm going to go and try to break down 7x squared. How do I break down 7x squared? Factors of 7 are 1 and 7, correct? So I'm going to use 7x and x, correct? What can we tell about my signs? What do they have to be? They have to be different because I need a negative at the end. So my signs have to be plus minus or minus plus. I'm not going to insert my signs this time. I'm going to wait. What are my factors of 12? 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. What have I told you to use normally? The closest ones. Does it mean that they'll always work? No, that means you have to try it. So if I put the 3 here and the 4 there, I'm going to get 4 times 7, which is 28, and 7 times 1, which is 7x. Is that going to give me an 8? No. So if I go ahead and I swap them, I put the 4 there and the 3 there, this is going to give me a 4x and a 21x. Is that going to help me? What can you conclude? 3 and 4 do not work. So now try the next ones, 2 and 6. Where would you logically want to put the 6? Why? You want to put it with the 7 because if I put the 6 here, I'm going to take 7 times 6 to give me 42. And does that sound like a good idea or a bad idea? Sounds like a really bad idea to get that big of a number. So we're going to go ahead and do 6x and 14x. And how am I going to get an 8? by subtracting, but I need a negative 8. So which one of those has to be negative? How did I get a 14? 7 times 2, so the 2 is negative, and the 6 is positive. Do we see that? Yes or no? Make sense? Okay. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it the AC method. What's A? What's C? What's A times C? That's a lot of factors, isn't it? So I'm looking for factors of 84 that will give me what? 8. So I'm going to come over here to my calculator. And I'm going to type in 84. Now, what numbers are going to give you your middle term of 8? 6 and 14. Do we see that? 6 and 14 give you 8. So if I'm going to be using a 6 and a 14, I have to divide them both by what? A, which is 7. 6 over 7 stays. How about 14 over 7? Which one's bigger, 6 over 7 or the number 2? This is bigger. So I need to go ahead and I need to first break down x squared, x and x. Second, look at my signs. It's a negative, so I need a plus and a minus. The bigger number gets the middle sign, which is negative. So which one of our numbers is bigger? The 2 is going to be negative, and the 6 over 7 is going to be the plus. The 7, is it allowed to stay there? No, so that's going to give you a 7x plus 6 times an x minus 2. Same exact problem, done 2 different ways. The process works both times. Yes? Okay. A couple more examples. We're not going to do them all. Okay. Step 1. GCF. Do I have a GCF? What is it? Go fish. Pull out a 5. So if I pull out a 5, what remains? Y squared minus y minus 2. You have to do division, divide each term by 5, correct? Okay, now, doesn't this look just like last night's homework now on the back of your worksheet? It does, right? So we're going to go ahead and put this into 2 binomials. So step 1, break down y squared. What's that going to be? Y and y. Step 2, I need a negative. So what's that say about your signs? They're going to be different. Step 3, I need to be negatives in the middle, so my bigger number goes with my negative, yes? Step 4, factors of 2 are what? Where's the 2 going to go? Last, and I can check 1y, negative 2y, it gives me a negative 1y, which is what I wanted. Do we understand that? Do this yourself quickly. How many of you are running into a wall? Okay, here we go. Step 1. Find the smallest number up there. 2. Does 2 go into 11? No. So do I have a GCF? I do not. So I'm going to go about this the way we did it before, which are what are my factors of 2? 1 and 2. So I need a 2x and an x. Would you agree? Next, I need to have a positive outcome. So that means my signs are going to be plus, plus, or minus, minus. Which one am I going to choose? Minus, minus. So that means I'm going to add. What are all my factors of 10? 1 and 10, 2 and 5. And what did I tell you to use? Closest ones. So if I go ahead and put the 5 here and the 2 there, inner gives me a negative 2x, outer gives me a negative 10x to give me a negative 12x. Is that helpful? Now, what if I swap them? Make this be a 5 and this be a 2. Negative 5x, negative 4x, that gives me a negative 9x. Is that helpful? What did we just show? 2 and 5 will not work. So I need to replace the 2 and the 5 with 1 and 10. Now be logical. If I put a 10 here and a 1 there, I'm going to have a 20 and a 1. Is that going to help? What if I go the opposite way? I'm going to have a 10 and a 4. Is that going to help? No. What can you conclude? It is irreducible. Do we understand that? Yes or no? You have to exhaust your possibilities. Okay? All right. That brings us to the next example that I want to do, which is going to be on the next page, I think. We're going to do 8x squared plus 10x minus 25. I'm sorry. And I'm going to tell you, I am not doing this by the AC method. You know why? 8 times 25. That's 200. There's a ton of factors of 200. Do I want to type that into my calculator, into my computer? There are going to be times whenever you're not going to have accessibility to the factor finder. Would you agree? So you have to know how to do this without that. So let's go with the way I taught you. You might have a GCF. Factors of 8 are 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. Does 8 go into 10 or 25? Does 4 go into 10 or 25? And neither does 2, so there's no GCF. What did I tell you to use for factors? The closest. 2x and 4x. Would you agree? Yes? Factors of 25. 1 and 25, 5 and 5. What did I tell you to use? Closest factors. So I'm going to put a 5 and a 5. Inner gives me a 20x, outer gives me a 10x. What do I need to get? A positive 10x. So how do I get a positive 10x? Making 20 positive and making 10 negative. Yes? How am I getting 20? 5 times 4, which means the 5 is positive, and then the second 5 is negative. Do we see that? Yes or no? So much faster and easier than typing in the calculator. Would you agree? Okay. Next example. 15x squared plus 29x plus 12. Do I have a GCF? No. Factors of 15 are 1 and 15. And 3 and 5. None of those are going to go into 29, are they? What factors should you use first? 3x, 5x. Step 2, I need to have a positive outcome. What's that say about my signs? They're either plus, plus, or minus, minus. How do I determine? So I need plus, plus. Those are not going to change. Factors of 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. What should you use? Try 3 and 4 first. Now, think. If I put the 4 here, I'm multiplying that by 5 to give me what number? Is that a nice number? That gets me pretty close to my 29. Would you agree? So if I put the 4 here and I put the 5 here, inner gives me 20x. Outer, this should be a 3, gives me a 9x to give me a 29. Is that what I wanted? Do we understand that? Last example. I've done a ton of examples, and it's because they're all a little different, aren't they? Okay, how is this problem different? It's negative. Do we ever want our A value to be negative? So how did we fix that yesterday? We pulled out a -1. So if we pull out a -1, I'm left with a 14x squared plus 3x minus 27. And then go right about it just like we did before. What are the factors of 14? 1 and 14, 2 and 7. What should you use? So 2x, 7x. Then look at your last sign. What's my sign's going to be? One's positive and one's negative. I'm going to hold off on my signs, and I'm going to find my factors of 27. That's 1 and 27 and 3 and 9. Which should you use? Should I put the 9 here? Why is that a definite no-no? Because I don't want to take 9 times 7 to get 63. That's not cool at all. So I want to put the 9 over there and the 3 here. So inner gives me 21x, outer gives me 18x, and I need to achieve a 3x. Subtract the 18 and make the 21 positive to give you a 3. How did I get a 21? 3 is positive, making the 9 negative. Do we understand, yes or no? Tonight's homework will be difficult. We will go over everything tomorrow and answer any questions you have. Yes?